All right, I think we're good. I think we're on.
Awesome.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. I am your host today, I guess. Well, we are your host. We got Gabs in the house. We got JB over here. What's up, JB?
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
And you'll remember him from the last podcast that we did. Oh, I need my mic. It's probably better if I have a mic, although you can probably hear me. But once again, Gabs, JB. We did the Doomsday and Darkseid Origin. And then we got Hector.
Hey, guys.
So Hector is back. What's up, Hector? How you doing, dog?
Pretty darn good.
And we finally get to put a face to the name.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you do. Hello.
Yeah.
This is the face.
So what are we doing today?
Well, last time we podcast, we were discussing Thor and his origin and his Hammer's origin.
Right, we mentioned it at the end.
mentioned it.
Right.
So we're going to talk about it here today.
Got you.
So...
and I guess we're gonna try to keep this one out as long as the last one. I think the last one went like 50 minutes, right? So
yeah, I didn't even realize how long it was. Like I was sitting there listening to it while I was playing video games. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah,
when
that was
did we
good.
stop talking?
I think we had a lot of good info on that one. So let's try to do the same for the listeners on this one. But we kind of adapted a little bit. What we're gonna do is we have a rotating image carousel, kind of like a little fun facts for you guys. Now we didn't expect was that it had a white background. I made it with transparent backgrounds, but you know what? For the sake of time, we got it that way. Whatever, right?
We're not nitpicky.
And we got Hector in today, so that's all that matters.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna start off. Who wants to start us off? What is the origin to the hammer?
Boom, got it. I have it here on my trusty, dusty iPhone. So don't Okay, so what happens is there's a war, and this takes place way before, the events of the current Thor. And what happens is it's Odin, and he saves this race of people called either the dwarves or the doors. It's the
dwarves.
It's the dwarves.
Yeah,
okay.
the dwarves. And normally Odin doesn't even.
Yeah, no. He doesn't
go
even
into these.
interfere. Like he's he's high and mighty or whatever. And so what he does is there's a war going on. And it's happening eons before, Earth 616 Thor comes around and all this other, craziness that's happening in the Civil War. And so what happens is Odin comes and he saves the dwarves.
Now, who are they fighting? Do you know who they're fighting?
I forgot.
The trolls.
The trolls.
How could you, man?
Dwarves versus trolls.
Yeah.
That sounds like a MMO or an RPG.
Now, do you guys know why Odin decided to come into the picture? Because normally he doesn't.
Yeah, he didn't save them particularly. He saved their mines and their blacksmiths.
Exactly, because they could do what really no other race could do. Yeah,
they were the best at making weaponry. And so what happens is, as a token of their appreciation, they end up giving him a piece of the uvu. And the uvu is a magical rock.
Uru.
Uru. Thank you. I spelt it wrong. Don't judge me. It is a part of the Stone of Creation itself.
Right. That's what makes it so powerful.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful, in fact, that they can't forge it. So it's basically useless. It's like having $1,000 bill that you can't catch, and, you can't use, because stores are lame. And so what happens is a storm comes along, a sentient storm, and Odin, being the wise Asgardian he is, he decides to battle this storm. And Gabs, you had some fact that I didn't know about that allowed him to win last time. What did he do?
Well, he has his brother's powers inside of him.
Right.
And that allowed him to capture the storm, kind of take it, combine it, and infuse it into the magical Uru. Hector, do you know anything about this Uru?
Surprisingly, no. I do not know.
Okay, so I was looking into it. So supposedly I was watching a video about what would happen if Thor's hammer were to go up against adamantium. Because when adamantium, it forms the hardest metal.
Would work.
Yeah.
So you know that I know, and you've told me this, Hector, that Thor's hammer has damaged Cap's shield before, so it can dent it, right?
Yeah.
But it can't break it. So what makes Uru amazing is that it has magical resistive properties, which is why it can absorb magic. So when Odin casts his magic, it absorbs all that magic that he puts into it. So it infuses the magic into it.
That would explain a lot, because I remember in, you ever see the Avengers cartoon series when Thor is going up against, a mystical being, and he, deflects their magic with the hammer?
Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Yeah, I think so. He does that a lot. With anything that comes away, he's just
like, yeah, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, it's
Take
really
that back.
powerful. So yeah, that's interesting. He's kind of like the Avatar state, is what it reminds me. You guys ever watch Avatar?
Yes.
You talking about the James Cameron Avatar?
No, Avatar: The Last
Stop.
Airbender.
Oh.
No,
Remind me.
No.
We do
No.
not speak of this.
Oh god. It wasn't that bad though. But
It was pretty bad.
shut up. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar has the power to
Control the
control
elements.
and he can talk to his former lives.
Yeah, the spirits of all of the avatars past.
And gain experience from them. So that's what that reminded me of. But anyway, with that help from Odin's past brothers and whatnot, he decides he's able to trap the sentient storm in the piece of Uru.
Uru. You got it, sir. You
It's
got
an
it.
R.
I got it. It's R. I spelled it Uvu. Okay.
Well, maybe it was an R. It was a cursive R.
Yes.
It looks like a V.
It is. That's how.
So
and
you
it was
spelled it right. You just read it wrong.
tilted. Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird. I don't like that. Stop that, Google. So what he does with the sentient storm and the Uru is he goes back to the dwarves and he requests it to be turned into a mighty weapon, and that's how the hammer is born.
Mighty hammer.
The mighty hammer. But because the storm is still alive in that stone, in that hammer, and Odin was the one that cast it into that stone, he wasn't able to wield it. And so what happens is he locks it up in his vault, and so the one who is worthy, deemed worthy by the storm, is able to come along and wield it, aka Thor.
True that.
Odinson.
So just to recap, it was a storm.
Yep.
That's why he's, thunder.
Ah,
Storms.
God of Thunder.
indeed. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And why it's sentient too, and how it can react.
Well, it was.
And then it died.
And then it died. Because,
it kind of died.
Yeah.
Well, it did and it didn't, right?
It didn't.
Because it's
Parts
like,
of it is still alive, but it's not as strong as it used to.
what's a good metaphor for this? Being absorbed into another machine metal thing, and you still kind of control it. Your essence
you
is
got
there.
Brainiac.
Ah, Brainiac, I like it. Your world got absorbed into the orbs. Here's what I get caught up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
This whole story is it, and somebody explained this to me, because right, it was forged in the heart of a dying star.
Supposedly.
So it's once again, it's forged in the heart of a dying star by the dwarves now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but didn't you say that they couldn't forge it?
I guess.
I see your face, Hector.
There
And
is-
he's like, I don't know.
Listen, it's comic books. You can't, sometimes you can't
put
explain
logic.
things.
I mean, I guess the sentient storm weakened it to an extent.
I guess the infusion of the magic that it put in it made it malleable to
Maybe.
some extent.
What
And the fact that they're, I don't know, in the middle of a star, it's pretty
the dying
hard.
star.
That's
There has
pretty
to be
hard.
magical properties in there somewhere.
Probably.
Right. Now, what I do know is that it took like 1,000 dwarves working on this together to do it. So I'm wondering if like this metal was like originally like, you know how like all the rich people have everything?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if like the rich dwarves had this and they wouldn't like get all the help they could get to form this Uru.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
'Cause you know how rich people can be sometimes.
Yep.
Selfish.
There's actually a deep storyline with Loki and the dwarves, because the dwarves end up forging the spear for Odin, as well as the ring around his arm that that like replicates.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
because
pretty dope.
do you know this story?
No.
And Loki
Educate
cut
me.
off the hair to Thor's girlfriend, and she woke up and he's a prank, and Thor's like, what the F, bro?
Yeah.
Get pranked, kid.
Right, so he goes to the
Just cut
dwarves and
off
is
his
like,
girlfriend's
forge her
hair.
some hair. And then Loki finds out about it. There's a whole arc to this. And instead of being, and once the dwarves make it, right, they finally make it, like the spear and then the ring and the hair for this chick. Why didn't Loki just be like, here, Odin, here's your gift. Here, Dad,
Yeah.
and here, girl I cut hair off of, I'm sorry. Loki has to take it a step further. And he, so that's another storyline. Let's just say that he gets himself further into trouble.
I mean, he's Loki. He's the god of mischief. What do you expect?
You're right. 100%.
He's just a devious, bad child.
He just, and, according to the movies, he's kind of a frost giant, maybe? Sort of.
He's half frost giant.
Yeah.
He was adopted.
Yeah, he's kind of,
All right. I do need you guys to speak up just a little louder
Okay.
for me over there.
My
Much better. Not like that loud, bro.
bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
So just in case, last time we found out our AOE was not as great as we thought it was.
Excuse me. what?
We can get mics in
Wow.
the future, though. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
Well, he heard AOE. He's like only like gamer nerds know what I'm talking about here. Aerial effect. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
So Hector, I need to hear you.
Okay.
Man, we gotta get you on here.
All right. You want to hear?
Okay. Well, we talked about the origin of the hammer, right?
Yes.
And we got Hela and Heimdall
Mm-hmm.
that we still kind of have to talk about in this story.
Yes, we do.
I know they don't have anything to do really with the hammer, but I say this because I remember in the Ragnarok trailer, Hela grabs it, right? And she destroys it.
She just like...
So then another question
Magic
could be formed. How is it that she could crush that hammer that's made of this unbreakable...
Isn't she like the god of death, though?
She is the goddess of death.
She's the goddess of death, so she's an infinite thing. Death is everywhere. Death is powerful. You would expect it to be very, like, you know, a hammer. Really? You serious?
Well, I think it's believed at this point that she will have the Infinity Stone in her possession. She's got to have it, right?
I mean, how else are you going to take over Asgard?
Yeah.
And if you look at the flames in that trailer, the flames are the orange color, which are the flames of the Infinity Stone. And, hey, you know, just because they're orange now, people are like, wait, flames are always red and orange. No, they are not. Not in Marvel. You have any color you want in Marvel. Yeah. Remember Guardians of the Galaxy? Yep. When they exploded? Purple.
Yep. Everything was purple.
How is it purple? I don't even know.
Freaking aesthetics.
What do you think of of Kate Blanchett and Idris Elba as Hela and Heimdall?
Okay, first of all, best casting idea that they could have ever had. Those are two of the greatest people that they could have ever gotten for these two characters. Because, okay, I can't pronounce his name, Heimdall's real name.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. I gotta remember that. Like, if you've seen any of his movies, if you've seen his new movie, The Dark Tower, he has this imposing stature all of the time, and a mysterious and a kind of like, you know, I don't know if that's what you think I'm thinking, you know, type deal. And Heimdall is a very, you know, imposing, and he's supposed to stand guard over all of Asgard. He's literally the one guy. He's the first line of defense for anything that comes through to Asgard to fight. Like, if you've seen Thor: Dark World, when that he was.
He took on that big giant ship.
The
he jumped on it.
That's also like he's obviously, you know, he's an Asgardian. He's gonna be technically a godlike to us, but he has acute senses that are better than most in Asgard. So like that's why he was able to sense. Oh, that's a thing I should stop.
What were you telling me about Heimdall and his powers?
Yes. Interesting enough, Heimdall has the ability to create a physical avatar, just an avatar of himself over all of creation. Any realm of reality that he can possibly want to project himself onto, he can. So like, let's say Thor, he's on Earth. He's doing something and he needs to talk to Thor. You know, he could just project an avatar, have a full-blown conversation, go get donuts, you know, do something with him.
Hey, that sounds more like the Flash than Heimdall.
But yeah, he can do whatever he wants. You know, he can project the avatar to any realm that he could possibly imagine, and that just seemed interesting to me.
Dope. If I had to name it, I'd say it would be omnipotent projection.
Omnipotent projection.
That sounds pretty dope.
It's lit, dude.
Do you guys have any idea who's lifted Thor's hammer before? I mean, you guys have.
There's a couple of people.
A lot of people.
One of them, Beta Ray Bill, who was an alien who.
Yep.
Oh, and he was also in the World War
Hulk animated movie.
Yeah, we'll get to that one here in a minute.
He was he was an alien that I don't know the exact story behind it.
He was a cyborg.
No, he's straight up alien.
Straight up alien.
He was found by Thor on I'm going off of what I've seen in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the animated TV show. They did an episode where Thor got a distress signal from someplace, and it was an alien spaceship, wrecked, destroyed. And he got on the spaceship, and Beta Ray Bill was there. He knocked him on his
tush.
And so he did that, and Thor was like, all right, you know what, I'm done with you. And he just picks up Thor's hammer, and Thor's like, oh, okay.
Makes him worthy. So then that goes back to the storm, right? What about the storm knows that Beta Ray Bill is worthy? I mean, the Storm just knows, right?
I
It has to.
I guess
It's the deciding factor in whether is
like
he
his
worthy of this
integrity.
immense power or not. Like what are his intentions for this?
That's what it is.
This power.
I remember reading
And, like
that.
if you want to like take over all realms, I'm not letting you pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just, you're kind, you won't use this recklessly, then yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Better Ray Bill had a justified reason for lifting that hammer. First of all, he was protecting himself. He didn't know what Thor was doing there. He could have been the guy that destroyed the ship that he was on.
Right.
So one, he was protecting himself. Two, he was seeking not revenge but justice for what happened to him. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember exactly what happened to Better Ray Bill, but he was seeking justice for what had happened to him and I think his kind or family, either one. And it all ended up to him getting his own Mjölnir.
It
was kind of like
it's like a hammer, but like with the curved.
it's like a curved
Like,
hammer.
if you've ever seen the World War Hulk animated movie, you know what it looks like.
Yeah, and because Thor brought him back to Asgard and was like, hey, this guy kind of lifted this. You wanna, and they were like, all right, we'll make him another one. We'll kind of replicate it.
So do you think? Okay, so remember Thor when Thor loses his hammer, he turns into Dr. Blake.
Donald Blake.
Donald Blake. Oh, yeah, Donald Blake. Good call though.
Dr. Donald Blake.
So when Beta Ray Bill holds the hammer, does Thor go back to Donald Blake? He has to, right?
Actually, no. That's a good question, by the way. Thor's hammer, his abilities come from the hammer originally. It's not canon anymore, but
right anymore. But back in the day,
back in the day,
I'm pretty sure he would have turned back into to Dr. Blake.
Actually, no. Still, even though his hammer is away from him, it's a time limit.
60 seconds.
60 seconds.
Yes.
If the hammer is away from him for 60 seconds, then he turns into a human. He still has, he doesn't have as immense strength as he would, of
course
with a
not.
hammer.
Right.
But he is
it.
basically an Asgardian, so he is still impenetrable. He's pretty strong, stuff like that.
So there's the caveat. He does turn to Blake, but only if it's gone for 60 seconds.
Yeah, if it's gone for exactly a minute, he's back to.
But that's not canon anymore. So for our listeners, if you don't know what canon means, that means it's not a part of like the official
main
storyline.
continuity.
Right. So we got Beta Ray Bill. What else?
Rogue.
I think Captain America, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Captain
Right.
America. Oh, funny enough, in the movie Avengers: Age of Ultron, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Please do.
But spoilers, just in case. There was a scene when they're all around a table. They're having a party. They're celebrating. They kind of like stopped Bear and Strucker and stuff. They're sitting there. They're having fun, and Tony Stark goes, "Well, actually, it's all just
It's physics.
A trick. It's physics. It's just a trick." And Thor's like, "All right," puts it down on the table, and he says, "Go ahead, try." He comes up. He tries. He's like, "Hold on." He leaves. He comes back with the a gauntlet from his suit, and it has like a rocket booster.
Him and Warhammer.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
And all that stuff, and then he has War Machine to come in and help him.
Yeah,
He's
War
just-
Machine,
You're not lifting
Warhammer.
her.
Oh my
You're
God,
not lifting her.
Warhammer. What am I
It's
saying?
funny.
Stuff happens.
But then Captain almost lifts it, right?
yeah, and, like, he looks
he's, like
worried.
freaking
So-
out.
Okay, my dad is. I've told you guys this before. My dad is a Captain America fanatic. Favorite superhero. Loves the guy. And everybody else tries. Everybody tries. And Cap comes up, puts his hand on a hammer, pulls, and it nudges.
So-
and it moves a little bit. And
Do you think Captain thinks in his mind that he's unworthy?
There's actually that's why I brought up my dad, because my dad says he let him keep the hammer down out of sheer friendship. Because if
I don't think it was friendship.
Me neither.
because
It
if
looked like he was
Thor
trying.
if Thor's again,
I think
he acted like it.
I'm
because,
telling you,
hold on,
he wasn't worthy. He didn't think he was
because
worthy.
Thor said that if anybody picks this up, they rule Asgard rightfully. Captain America is not a douchebag. He doesn't want to take a kingdom from his good friend. So that's my dad's theory. I don't think anything about it. I think he just wasn't worthy enough.
So what do you think about this one? Because somebody explained this one to me. This is Age of Ultron, right?
Okay.
Think about this. And the next movie was Captain America: Civil War, right? We learn in Civil War that he lied to Tony Stark about the death of his father, and he knew it the whole time. So in Captain's brain, he's like, I've been lying to one of my best friends. I am not.
Maybe that's why.
I'm not worthy.
Probably why. That's one of the key factors.
It could be. Maybe now that he's finally got that off his chest, and he's now put himself into that position, maybe we'll see that he has the ability to wield the hammer.
That would be
if they do that in movie, I will explode.
Infinity War. That would be.
That would mean Thor would have to die though, or at least to be utterly annihilated to the point where he can't lift it.
I mean, you got to remember Tony's visions, and it wasn't Civil War. It was Age of Ultron. You know, I think he's had other visions too before. I could be wrong, but with the whole Avengers defeated, you see
Captain America shield
broken.
split in half. You see, you know, Hulk. You see Black, and Captain America's like, you could have stopped this. So, I mean, you never know. It could happen.
I heard that Superman once wielded Thor's hammer in a crossover.
Yeah, and it was
breaking the fourth
wasn't
dimension.
wasn't that when they did the mashup in the comics?
The DC versus Marvel comics. Yeah, actually.
And I think it was the 90s or 80s.
It was
I
think it was the 90s. And that was pre-Amalgam Universe. And if you don't know, the Amalgam Universe is when they take two heroes from both companies and they mash them together. So, like, you get Batman and Wolverine, you get
Batman Predator, Aliens, all those stuff. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Crazy. The Amalgam Universe is it's cool. I like the ideas from it. You guys should check it out. It's pretty good.
Superman actually wielded Captain America's shield and Thor's hammer.
Yeah, he wielded both, and I was like,
that was
how
that
I
whole
never
panel.
I never thought you could make Superman more OP.
I mean, he's already a god. Now he's wielding this hammer with god it's
like why
the impenetrable shield with is like what? Wonder Woman lifted it as well. She's a god too.
True. What about I think we also forgot to mention that the origin story came from Thor being unworthy.
Right.
I think it's called like the unworthy Thor or something like that. Or that has something to do with the word unworthy. And then Jane Foster picks up the hammer.
She becomes she kind of replaces him.
She becomes Thor.
She becomes Thor. She replaces him.
And she goes to the great library,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the nexus for all.
Yeah. This is like after. This is like when people were like trying to take up mantles and stuff, and Jane Foster was like, "Hey, hammer, I'm basically Lady Thor now," and like her and Falcon hook up, which surprised me. I was like, "Oh, that's cute," but yeah, she becomes Thor, replaces him. It's great. That's interesting. I like her whole getup.
Yeah, she's definitely.
She's like a Valkyrie. She has like the Valkyrie look. If anybody out there plays Overwatch and you know who Mercy is and you've seen the skin, her Valkyrie skin, it's kind of like that. She has the wings on the side of the helmet, but it comes down. The helmet actually comes down.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's like, dope. Whoa.
I like it. Rogue also lifted Thor's hammer.
I never would have guessed Rogue of all people.
Yeah, it happened. I think it was during the crossover event. I'm probably wrong. But she absorbed Thor's powers and killed him, and then she took up.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
in a way, in a really roundabout way.
As a matter of fact, and it.
Speaking of spirits, a little fun fact that you might not have known: Thor's hammer can raise the spirits of dead people.
That's what happened. It raised Thor's spirit, and he was like, "You have my power now. You basically have a responsibility to do this, this, and that." And she's like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah, she basically becomes a Thor.
So she becomes the first Lady Thor.
It's great.
Which is kind of cool because you need this whole diversity thing going on, anyways, and if it really is a mantle of Thor, then let's get another Thor. I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, why not? The more the berry.
All right. Well, we got one last thing we got to talk about. You got a few minutes left.
Oh yeah.
Because we did get a question about how close we think Thor Ragnarok is going to follow the planet Hulk.
I think pretty freaking close.
Maybe.
Do you think we're going to get a Beta Ray Bill?
No.
I mean, might not. We might not.
I doubt it.
It's a low possibility.
Maybe 30%, because they already have so much going on. We don't want another, Batman.
You don't want to overload people with too much stuff,
right? I mean, we're getting Hela.
Yeah, we're getting a whole lot of stuff.
We're getting godless Thor. We're getting a
and also
gladiator Hulk.
we're kind of getting isn't Ragnarok? I think Ragnarok's supposed to tie directly into Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like literally that movie, as soon as that ends, it just picks up at Infinity War.
Right, and if I remember right, with the Infinity War trailer that like leaked out, the first thing you see is Thor.
Well, I
like,
actually didn't watch the
floating.
trailer because I don't like.
Anyways, he dies. No, I'm kidding. Or does he? I don't know.
I mean,
He does. He doesn't. He does. He doesn't. I don't know.
does.
He doesn't die.
Yeah. Supposedly.
Okay, so in Planet Hulk, he was cast away by everybody to go to a planet. Long story short, he goes to a planet. He saves the planet, Sakaar, and then he beats the leader, and then actually back to Earth, terrorizes everybody. At one point, like beats the right because his ship exploded, killing millions of people, including Hulk's wife.
And his unborn child.
And his unborn child.
Oh.
Also, and it was the only reason that this happened, if you didn't know this, the aliens on that planet did it. And they blamed it on humans, on his friends. Well,
No kidding. I
and
didn't know that.
they did that. They did that because they thought he was being weak. Because when he got there, that planet was literally a war planet. It was like a gladiator planet. People would, and then he was becoming this peaceful, keeping everything peaceful. And he was only being aggressive when he had to be, and they were seeing that as a sign of weakness. The point, so
something going. It's like in a red zone or something like that.
Let me see. Let me investigate this.
Yeah, it says it's dropping. Oh, we're green now again. So.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure what's going on with the internet, but it says it's like dropping frames and stuff.
Okay.
But let's just end it here. We'll leave you on a trailer. What we were thinking, and we need your help with this.
Okay.
Was we have 3 ideas on the table. We have the Flash, we have the Green Lantern, and we have Spider-Man.
Wait.
Which Spider-Man, by the way?
Why not all of them? We'll
Yeah,
focus
choose
mainly on 616, but we can dabble in the Spider-Verse.
Okay, so we have Spider-Man, we got Green Lantern, and we got the Flash. Which one do you want to do first? And we're going to leave that one to you guys. So if you watch this, leave a comment, and most comments will win. Or when we tweet it out, whoever gets the most votes, we're going to do that one next. And it could be anything. So if you want to know, the Flash is coming out with the new movie in 2020 called Flashpoint. If you want to know something about that, just a little holler. Otherwise, we'll come up with something to talk about with the Flash, make it kind of unique, maybe an origin story or 2 in there.
Yep.
Since that is kind of the name of the game this year.
Origins.
Same thing with Spidey, and same thing with Green Lantern. Now, the thing with Green Lantern is there's too many cores. Right? You got the core, you got, Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner.
Yep.
Then you have, Tom you got Kilowog, you have the core Guardians. There's so many origin stories here that I just can't do them all.
Yep.
So
me
yeah.
on Twitter.
But thank you for watching, though. Hey, guys. It's fun.
Yeah, definitely. Follow me on Twitter, though, at _general_JB.
Always plug.
Yep, plug. Shameless plug.
Yep, hit that follow, hit that subscribe.
Yes.
All right. Well, Hector, you got anything to say?
No.
All right. Well, guys,
See you later.
take care.